All right, so today we're going to do one variable versus two variables with quadratic inequalities. The one on the left is one variable, the one on the right is two variables. Yeah. In the beginning of the last lesson, I showed you something, I made a mistake, and we're going to correct it up today. The one on the left, though, we know how to solve pretty easily, right? How do you solve something like that? What's the first thing you do? Chad? Yeah, we're going to set it equal to 0. We're going to try and find the roots. You're right, Jamie, though. We are going to factor. Some people just group those two things together. Yep. This one right here, we're going to set it equal to 0. Right? We're going to factor it. We're going to solve it. This is what your makeup test is going to be on. Stuff like this in the green. Right? Two things that multiply to be 10. 5 and 2. Then we're going to set each one of these parentheses equal to 0. You know, we get plus 5. Plus 5, and we get x equals 5. That's one of the roots. And we get x equals 2. Yep, that's the other root. What do you do after you find the roots? Sure, we're going to do some test points. We're actually going to take a really cheap shortcut in the interest of time so that we have enough time to talk about all our ideas. Here's our two roots. Now we've got to find where the shaded region is. Let's use our calculator. All right, so we're going to use our calculator now. We're going to just define the solution set real fast. We're going to type the original in, x squared minus 7x plus 10. Second test to find all of these symbols right here. We're going to go down to the one that matches the problem, greater than 0, and then we're going to hit graph, and it's going to give a graph like this. So we're looking for a pair of arms, and this we could have done with test points also as well. It just takes a while longer. I just don't have the time for it. So where is it? We got open circles at 2 and 5 because of this symbol right there, and it's a pair of arms, so arms outwards. Everybody's okay with that? Okay. All right. So now let's talk about what the solution means. Okay, so let's talk about what the solution set means for this. These are all the values for x for which you could sub into the original equation and make it true. You got that? These are all the values for x. You could take anything you want below 2 and anything you want above 5, and it will satisfy that equation in black up over here. That's what the solution means. You okay with that? Now, two variables. Let's talk about this. Also, I'm sorry, let's go back for a minute. When you have one variable, here's what a graphical answer looks like. Okay. Now let's take a look at two variables. Can you solve for one of them? You can't really. You need to kind of solve for x and y at the same time. And that presents a problem. We really can't do any of this stuff. You know what I mean? We really can't, okay? And you'll see all different types of alterations of this. The first step is always to kind of isolate y. Get y totally by itself on one side and get everything else over to the other side. Now let's take a look at what it's going to look like in your calculator. Two variables. Let's go back in here, okay? We no longer have this greater than 0 business. You have to be able to read this, okay? What's up? Oh, you just delete. Okay. Now let's take a look at what this original graph looks like. Okay. Here's a U-shaped curve. You need to literally find where the coordinates lie, the x and y values that satisfy this equation. And the cheapest shortcut to the answer is to pick a coordinate value. Pick a coordinate value either over here or over here. And if it works, then you shade that way. And if it doesn't work, then you don't shade that way. Ola. What's up? All I did was type in the original. Okay? Nothing else in there, because now we got to figure out the shading, right? Okay, so pick a coordinate. Give me anything you want. Shoot. Absolutely, you could. You're picking a coordinate on the outside of the curve. Okay, so let's use that as our test point. Our test point. Equals 0, 0. Yep, we're going to pick 0, 0. That's cool. The easiest one, in fact, to test. Some people give some crazy ones. But you could literally pick anything that you want. Okay, so 0 minus 0 plus 10 greater than 0. So is 10 greater than 0? What's up? That people had to pause for a minute and think about that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 10 is greater than 0. So here's what the answer would look like. That means the origin is in the solution, and the solution would look like this. You need to have it shaded that way, and that's shading downwards. Okay, and there's the entire solution for two variables in a quadratic inequality. All of that stuff. It's not arms anymore. You can't do it that way. Because when you like what happens is that when you draw a number line just going this way, you're only representing one item, like the x's. And that's where the coordinate grid comes from. It solves two different variables at the same time. So in this one, right, all these different combinations of like x's and y's, the shaded regions, that's the answer to the problem right there. Not at all. Suppose you picked a test point over here and it didn't work. That would also tell you where the answer lies. It means the answer is on the other side of the graph. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you get it? Like that. What's up? It's a great question. Flip over your sheet for a minute. Okay? The only way to express your answer is to draw a quick sketch like this, okay? Or pick it out in multiple choice. Or if they really want you to, and I mean like really want you to, you'd have to draw a quadratic equation, right? 7 points, 1 at the vertex, 3 on either side, and then you'd have to shade correctly. That's crazy. For me, for right now, I'm interested in a sketch of the answer, okay? Like for example, let's try number 1 together, right? From our sheet. Let's try number 1. Okay? It's saying y is greater than 3x squared minus 2x minus 1. So number 3. Y is greater than 3x squared minus 2x minus 1. First of all, let's just plug the original equation into our calculator. 3x squared minus 2x minus 1. Yeah? And you could just draw a quick sketch of this if you wanted to on your paper. Like, suppose I asked you to graph it. You just doing this for me for right now, x, y, and doing, oh, I don't know. It's like this. You know what I mean? There's our graph. Now, what test point do you want to use? 0, 0 sounds good to me. Is it easy? Yeah, it's within the realm. Yep. 0, 0. Okay. Absolutely. It's my favorite one. Test point. Test point is 0, 0, so then we're going to do 0 is greater than 3 times 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 1. Is 0 greater than negative 1? Yep. And so you'd be shading in the center. And if you wanted to try and do that on your graph, you would go over and you would be shading up. That's what that is. You'll see it comes down in like that. So we're going to do 9, but I'm just going to fix the problem and make it a little bit more complicated. Number 9. Yeah, I mean, this is what they do, but people get all freaked out about it, right? What do you got to do? Yeah, man, just add 3 to both sides. Get y on one side. Okay, so just watch out for that. So take this away. Y is less than negative 2x squared plus x plus 3. Okay? Let's type that into our calculator. Just get a sketch of it going. Negative 2x squared plus x plus 3. Hopefully it comes down. Oh, nice. So we're just going to draw a real quick sketch of it. Bless you. This is x, this is y, and I think it does this. Just a sketch. What do you want to use as a test point? Sounds good to me. I'm tired of writing out test points, so I'm just going to write test point is 0, 0. So let's plug it back into the original. 0 minus 3 less than negative 2, 0 squared plus 0. All right. Negative 3 less than. Yeah, that's weird. Is negative 3 less than 0? Yeah. Yeah. Negative 3 is definitely less than 0. So you're shading that way. It's got to be included in the shaded area. What's up? Am I allowed to? I did. I added 3 to both sides. I added 3 to both sides to try and isolate y, because there's no way to, you see, if I don't add 3 to both sides, there's no way for me to plug it into my calculator. What? I know, I changed it because I wanted to show you what your Regents exam would do. Okay, all right. You guys got the hang of it a little bit?